Welcome everybody. Today we'll be talking how a app server, a web server and a database server work coordinately with each other. For that we'll be using Apache, MySQL and Django. So let's start off without any further ado. So first I'm going to tell you how to install Python 3 packages. So for that sudo apt get install Python 3 space pip is the file command which we're going to use. So this will install all the packages. In case you want the basic version of Python, you can write Python instead of Python 3. Then we will be creating a virtual environment. Please input your password for the computer, it'll ask, and you can see just download it, and it didn't get upgraded for me because I already have it. Next, pip3 install virtual environment. Now virtual environment is very important as we're gonna use it for Django, so that's the command to install. As you can see, it installed for me. And then virtual environment is very important. Now we have to make a directory a directory which we're going to be using to make our app, and I'm going to name it apps, and then we common directory it to our main desktop folder. Now since now you can see we're going to be doing all our operations in apps. Now we're going to activate our virtual environment. First we have to make the environment file called env init, and as you can see we made it. And then now to activate the environment we use source space bin env space bin /bin/ activate to activate the virtual environment. As you can see, virtual environment has been activated and env has appeared before the desktop's name. Now as you can see, virtual environment is of great use to us, as we're going to be using it in a lot of Django directories. Now let's install Django. So pip3 install Django space Django admin tools. So this will install all the tools which are required to download the Django files. As you can see, it's being downloaded. Now we can see that it's all downloaded. Now what we have to do is we have to run all of this in the virtual environment. Please do take care of that. It's very important. Now what we'll do is we'll install Django directly and then start a test project to make our app, and then run that in our MySQL server. And please do make sure you're doing it right in the directory which I named apps, because all our files will be stored in that directory called apps. Now to install Django we write Django admin space start project space your project's name, which I'm going to be naming it test site. Now you can see there are no errors. That basically means your project would have started. Now this basically means your Django would have started. Now to deactivate the virtual environment you have to go back to where you created it. So since I created in the desktop, I'm gonna cd space double dots to go back to my main desktop directory. And now to deactivate it you just have to write deactivate, which basically deactivates the virtual environment. So deactivate, that deactivates the environment. As you can see, there's no env, and I go back to cding what I created as called as Django apps. This is my directory which I've already created my Django app in. So I'm going to be making all my operations in Django apps. So please do take care of that, as you have to use the directory which you made the Django app in. And I'm going to make my virtual environment in that /bin/ activate. So I'm going to activate my virtual environment. As you can see, I have activated my virtual environment in that same directory. So now we're going to make operations in our virtual environment called cd test site. And now you can see, sorry for the mistake, so cd space test site should be in our virtual environment, cd space test site. That's my directory which I'm going to be using, which has been made inside the Django apps. As you can see, In my home, there's something called as apps, which is my other directory which I've created way before to demonstrate which we're going to be using. As you can see, mkdir apps and cd apps. And then I created the virtual environment. And if I go into apps, you can see the file called env has been created inside. So this basically means our virtual environment has been downloaded perfectly inside apps. Now now you can see that I have made my own app called Django apps and cd test site as. So basically I'm gonna be doing what I did in the folder called apps. So now if I go into Django apps, and then you can see there's this folder called test site, and inside there's this thing called manage.py, which is a very important file, and during the making of the app I'm pretty sure you'll know that. Now to check if the app is responding to our web server, we have to run the server to check if it's running properly. So for that we use the command called python 3. I'm going to be using it as python 3 because I'm running on python 3 space manage.py space run server. That should run your server. So you can see my server has started. So now to go and recheck if my data is working and my data has been transferred properly and it's been interacting the server, we go and check it on the web server. So I'm gonna start on Mozilla command load. Sorry for the delay, my computer is a little slow. Okay, so till my browser loads, just a few facts which are very important. You have to switch on the virtual environment. If not, it will give you fatal errors, and trust me, I did that and it took a lot of time for me to decode it. So, and your directory, please make sure which directory you start your files in. You make the apps in, and please remember which directory your virtual environment and your files are located in, to make sure that your Django apps and your Django servers work properly. Now as you can see, my server has started. Now you log on to localhost /8000/admin. As you can see, my Django app has been created properly and it's been interacting. I have this folder called admin tables. That's the name of my data set. And then as you can see, if I log in, I have two columns, Ria and Abel. These were created way before, so it's been stored properly. I'm going to tell you, as you can see, I can select and I can make modifications as I choose. So to do that, first what I'm going to be doing is I'll show you how to change. So I go back to change, and then I select Ria, and then choose this option called delete, and then go. So yes, so as you can see, Ria has been deleted, and now I go back and I can add a file as well. I'm going to be adding my name, that is Samarth, and then and you can see my password is IMIN, and if I save it, it's been uploaded in the main data set. Now what we are going to do is we have to see if MySQL interacts with Django and if that has been reacted. Now as you can see behind my get as you can see, there are a lot of commands. So these show what all changes I've made in admin table. That's my data set. You can see get, and then post, that basically means I've fiddled with the admin table. So basically it gives a log of whatever you have done. It keeps track. Now let's start off with MySQL. So to start off with MySQL, you write sudo space MySQL space -u or -u, sorry, and then root and space -p. So this will ask you for your password. This will ask the password for your computer and for the MySQL database. So what basically we're going to try and do is we're going to make modifications in either of the places and see if it affects Django or MySQL. So it has asked, let me just input the password. Now you have to enter your password for your own MySQL database. So I'm going to be inputting that. This is going to take some time. Yeah, so as you can see, my MySQL has started, And now what we're going to do is we're going to first access our database and then check if our database has been in contact with Django. So for that we have to use our database called use admin table, and then you can see my database has been changed. That basically means we can access it right now. So show tables will give you the tables which have used, show tables and colon. Yeah, see, now you can see my tables has something called as a form admin table, which was the database which we saw before in the Django server. Now to see what all changes we have done, test site was the folder which I have made my Django app in and I've made my changes in. So for that we have to write a different command to get all the tables which are in test site itself. So for that select star from my star from my Django app called form tables. I mean my Django database, form tables. Now you can see what are all the contents inside form tables only. So basically it should give out my first Abel and Samarth. As you can see, that's there. And now if I go back to localhost, you can see there is a thing called there is Samarth and Abel. So basically MySQL and Django have been in contact with each other. Basically it's a success. So now if I take off my internet connection and if I reload my local host, it doesn't affect that. So this is basically how Django and MySQL work coordinately with each other. And then next I'm going to be talking about Apache and Nginx. So yeah, for Django and MySQL, this is how it works. As you can see, it says unable to connect to localhost. So that basically means we make the changes, and as I shut down MySQL, it doesn't work. Thank you. Now we'll be talking about Nginx. So to install Nginx, it's pretty simple. It's sudo apt-get space install space Nginx. So, and that'll ask you for the password for your computer, and you just input that, and you can see that it's installed. Now type sudo gedit -etc /nginx /sites /available /default. So that should start your Nginx. So this is the code to start your server, and that should always be inputted inside. And so as you can see, that listen to your port 80, and now you can see that this will start as it is. So that's your file where you have to input the code to start your Nginx. Now you type sudo space system systemctl restart Nginx. So this will start your Nginx again. As you can see, there's no error, so it started. Now sudo space system ctl start status of Nginx, status Nginx. So this will give you the status of your Nginx, that's your load balancer. Now you can see it's active and running. Now this basically means your load balancer is working properly, a high performance web server and a reverse proxy server. So this basically means your Nginx is working well and fine. And now you type sudo space systemctl space stop space Nginx. That will stop your Nginx load balancing, and that basically means you've executed or execute. Now we'll be talking about Apache. So to download Apache, it's sudo space apt-get Apache space Apache get. Okay, now first what we're going to do is update our packages. This is in case your Linux doesn't work, please try doing this. This will help you install it. Install and upgrade your packages again and again. So as you can see, I updated now. Sudo space apt get install instll get install Apache. Now I want the version Apache 2, so I'm going to choose Apache 2. As you can see, it's downloaded. I already have it, so it just didn't get upgraded. Now what we're gonna do is, to start Apache we write sudo space /etc/ this command is very important, init.d. so this is your configuration file of Apache, space Apache2 space start. So this starts your Apache server. As you can see, starting Apache, and it has been started. Now to see the status, you just write, instead of start you just space status. As you can see, it's active and running. Now if I want to check, I can go to Mozilla, and I mean my browser, and as you can see, localhost, oh sorry for that. Now if I go back to my localhost, and if I go back to my admin page, localhost /admin, instead of 8000, this is my port which it's listening to. I just have to take that out. So /admin, as you can see, it's working with my Django, and it's been connected. So basically this is working in coordination with Django as well. Now to stop the server, you just write stop, and that stops your Apache. And now if you can see, if I check the status, it says it's inactive or dead. So basically our Apache is working fine. So this is how you use Apache. So this basically, now if you go type localhost 8000, and if I take down the 8000, because that's not what we have to listen to, and if we /admin, it says unable to connect because my Apache is not running. So basically this is how it works. And yeah, so this is pretty much it for the video. Thank you for watching. Hope you figured it out.